Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, adults of all ages, welcome to the Sideshow.
And we are back.
We're back.
Doing the thing on a Saturday.
Yep.
We are normally recording heavily on Saturdays, but because we have other things that we have to do today, we're really just trying to squeeze some shit in.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be a whole lot of banter back and forth like we normally do. We will be getting into emails, but a little bit of discussion too, because you guys look forward to the discussion, so we're told. You going to talk about your new hobby?
I wouldn't say it's a new hobby.
You got pretty baked last night and just walked around Minecraft for like an hour and a half while I was editing.
I did. I was exploring caves. I found a little mine shaft and I was just exploring the mine shaft, and then I found this really cool tree set up and it started raining and I was like, oh my God, I can build a tree house. But the tree house is made out of leaves, so it's like camouflaged. It's pretty cool. I'm having fun. Me playing Minecraft Stone is a lot of fun for me.
Is it?
Yeah, the things that I say out loud.
Yeah, you were talking to yourself quite a bit last night.
I
had to keep pausing and be like, what? And it got to the point where I just started ignoring you and continued editing because I realized you weren't talking to me. But
I was doing stupid things like figuring out how to jump.
I
was like, oh, would you look at that?
So we hit number 6 on Apple for relationships and number 8 on Spotify for society and culture. Mm-hmm. We dropped from the top 10 position on Spotify all the way down to the 50th position for overall podcasts. But for us to still be in the top 100 podcasts in the world on Spotify is insane.
Right. And we've maintained within the top 10 since we started this.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I don't know what's going to happen, but we have a phone call Monday with somebody from iHeartRadio. Mm-hmm. I really don't know how that's going to plan out.
We'll see what happens.
I emailed the person back and I was like, is this just a marketing thing where you're going to try to sell me advertising, to market my podcast on iHeartRadio? Because I don't want to do that. I'm going to continue doing what we're doing in terms of my marketing shit and dealing with AJ and having the organic growth. I don't want to pay for that. Mm-hmm. I was polite about it, but the email I got back said that that's not at all what it was. So if there's a very real potential that we could, I don't know. I'm anxious and nervous and excited all at the same time because nobody's ever reached out to us like that. So
right.
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
It would be wild to think that, there could be a potential for either somebody to pay to sponsor on the show, like where we just talk about somebody's product real quick and then go about it, or even like a deal. Like, if somebody was like, hey, we want you to come to this platform exclusively for your podcast streaming, and you can still do YouTube and all your TikTok shit, and that won't be affected, and we'll pay you X amount of dollars, I would take it. Because right now we are not making shit on our podcast side of this at all. It's all YouTube money and Patreon. So it would be cool to get to a point where we are actually making money from the streaming services. Right now, the only way to make money streaming your podcast is if you take on sponsors.
Right.
And all the sponsors that we have are sponsors I don't want to deal with. I'm not going to sponsor some fucking weird phone game or like a jaw exercising ball or an electric bicycle for fitness thing. Like that's just not what we do. And I don't want to put my name behind something that's not really worth it.
Just to get the money.
Right. Now, if it was like Apple wanted me to advertise Apple Music, I use Apple Music, I would do that.
Right.
I don't know. It's just weird. It's so weird. I never thought that this would ever become a thing or that we would ever have to think about shit like this. This has never been a conversation that's ever been had in our home.
It is strange when you think about it.
Yep. I got episode 16 edited and uploaded. I got episode 5 of the side piece edited and uploaded. I have to edit the Patreon video from yesterday that we did. That's like an hour and a half for one email. Mm-hmm. And then I would like to, if we can, get some reaction videos done today too.
It's so much.
Yep. And you're about to start editing your own shit. So we pulled the live stream affirmations off and put it on your computer so that you can learn Premiere. That's exciting, right? You'll be able to edit your own clips for TikTok.
I am pretty stoked about that.
Yeah.
I feel like I made some solid points in that.
Yeah, you did. I think you did. There's a lot there. I actually think that once the love languages are done, we should go through and clip them so that we have the love languages, just that part of the live, clip it and then put it on the streaming services so it can hit Apple and Spotify so that we can cover both on that because there's a lot of good information there.
Right.
So something to think about. I don't know. TikTok's doing its thing. We're growing our channel over there too, which is wild. You just joined the creator beta program, which is
I did.
nice. Hopefully we can start generating revenue on our TikToks.
I just hit 6 million likes on my TikTok.
Wow. And you're less than 500,000?
Yep.
That's a lot. That's
Y'all
a
are
lot.
liking but not following.
Ooh, bitches. No,
It's like it's a tease.
it's not really though when you think about it. When all
Right.
those people see those videos over and over again and they keep liking them, and they're doing the thing for you.
Right.
You guys see all the flirty one-liner, cheesy one-liner things that I've been doing?
I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they set the tone for my day.
Every morning when we go for a walk, I get online and start looking for cheesy pickup lines.
Yeah.
And sometimes I find really good ones, and sometimes I'm
do.
like, these are really bad, and I'm like, I have to change it. Like, this is a good premise. Yeah, switch it up, make it work.
Right.
Like the first aid kit one yesterday was more me than the internet.
That was good.
So
Sometimes it's nice just to have an outline of what you want to do.
yeah, she's smirking at.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
This is literally you taking time doing something just to make me smile.
Yeah, and it does.
It does.
It does. And you get excited every time. You know it's coming. You see it as soon as I pull the phone out that I'm about to hit you with a cheesy one-liner, and you still get excited over it.
I do.
So
I love it.
I guess as long as you don't ever get bored with it or be like, really, another one, we can just keep doing it because it's
Yeah.
fun for me too. Because you never know what I'm gonna say.
I don't. I really don't. I'm excited to hear what you came up with.
Yeah,
Because I know you're not reading it verbatim off of the internet. You're
No.
putting thought into this.
yeah.
And
I do normally switch them up a little bit. I do normally switch them up.
you make me happy.
I fucking try.
You do a really good job. Just every day it's another step. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
he is really out here.
We're getting to a point where we're at a point right now where this is doing way more than we ever thought it would in terms of views, watch hours, and now in terms of money.
Right.
And we've been saying all along that we want to make this a full-time job. And with the hurricane, I haven't been shy about the amount of debt that I've taken on. And like I've been able to pay a lot of it down, and I've made moves and sold some shit so that we can stay afloat and life has continued to do what life is doing, and nothing horrible has happened other than the loss of the businesses. But I truly think that within the next 2 months of this doing what it's currently doing, we may start really being able to posture our life for a different outcome than it currently is.
That's crazy.
It is. And it's super exciting. And like the hopium of all of it is really starting to addict me. And I don't want to be the guy that has all these high expectations, knowing that I have no control over the algorithm. I have no control over our viewers. The only thing that I control is the content that we put out, and make sure that the editing is done, and staying in contact with AJ and Jennifer and doing what we're doing on our side to do the best that we can do. And we are growing and learning because we're doing the thing. We've grown a lot in 30 days. And as much as that hopium is in me, there's a fucking fear in there that this is going to just kind of fizzle. Like, I mean, where's the ceiling in this? There's got to be a ceiling somewhere.
Right.
And I know that if we have 34,000 followers on or subscribers on YouTube, that's a very small fraction of people. That's less than 10% of the United States population. You know what I mean? Like it's a percentage. It's literally a percent. So I don't know. Like I know that everyone has to communicate. The skills that we're giving are universal. Everyone can benefit from it. They just have to listen to what we're saying and like the way we deliver it. And then on top of that, most people want to have a relationship and they want the longevity. And there's a lot of red pill, blue pill nonsense that's going on the internet. Did you hear the popping on that? That was pretty bad, huh? It
Yeah.
probably moves away a little bit. There's a lot of red pill, blue pill shit that goes on the internet. And like, that's entertaining for people, but there's no real sustenance there. It's more like, haha, bitch, gotcha. And like, I don't want to do that. I would rather put out content that makes people think and makes people grow or want to grow. And when you're putting people at odds and at sides, you're not doing that. You're creating more division and animosity, and that's not what we want to do.
Right.
So really, while that's super popular right now, we are the anti-hero of that. And I feel like what we're doing is going to eventually balance all of those creators. I don't know, man. There's a lot.
It really is a lot. It's a lot. It's exhausting.
It is. Do you want to just get into the email?
Yeah. How long has it been?
A whole 10 minutes.
I feel like 10 minutes is better than 2.
I agree. Because last time we tried this, we just jumped right in. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about moving forward? I mean,
What do you mean talking about moving forward?
I don't know. Like, do you have our lives? We've been recording so much that nothing new has happened, so we don't have a lot to talk about other than the reaction channel,
Right.
which I'm excited about, only because it breaks this up and we get to have other conversations. But we need to find somebody that can help us get the Amazon affiliate program set up.
That would be dope.
I need more time in a day. I do need more time in
Yeah.
a day because
It
I
is.
can't just. It's just too much. It is too much.
It doesn't stop.
You know, once we get caught up on editing, if you're, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when the kids are here, I can sit down and do all that. Even while their kids are here, I can still work on the computer and try to figure that shit out. And I may just have to do that. It is what it is.
I wish I didn't have to go into the shop tomorrow.
Yeah, I sent our manager a message and asked her how it would look on terms of schedule if we closed on Sundays, so that you didn't have to do that. I know that it would affect some people's schedules, but I got to be honest. Like, if this continues doing what it's doing, I need you here on Monday because the record time is making up Sunday. What did I say? Monday. Having you here on Sunday would make up a lot more revenue.
Right. That's an additional 8 hours of recording.
Right. Or even 6 hours of recording. It's 2 episodes. That's view time. So,
Yep. I make more money being here than there.
yeah. I mean, you would technically. If this continues, it definitely will. All right, let's jump into an email since you don't have anything else to discuss. I don't want to keep talking for no reason.
All right. So this one is called Question About Marriage. I've been tuning into you for a bit over a week now. And while I do disagree with you on some points, I appreciate and respect your points of view regarding relationships.
Can we stop doing that, guys?
Yeah, I really don't care if you disagree. It's not going to influence my opinion on anything.
Right. And you don't want to agree with somebody 100% of the time. If you
Right.
do, you're a follower. Like, I don't want that. I want free thinking individuals around us. And I don't agree with anyone 100%.
Right.
We don't agree with each other 100%. So you
Nope.
don't have to say that. We get it. Like,
If you agreed with everything we said, I would question why you're here.
right. Yeah, because at this point you have no growth. Like, you just know
Right.
it all.
Not even that. That is hive mind mindset.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Don't agree with everything we say. I have a question for you, and it's a little long-winded, but here's the rundown. My partner is 33 and I am 35, and we've been together for nearly 2 years. I moved in with him in October. So, noted, almost 2 years they've been together.
Yep.
I do like that they waited to move in together, so it was over a year before they decided to move in together. That's a smart move.
Yeah, I agree.
Back when we first started dating, we had a conversation about marriage. He expressed that he wasn't really interested in getting married, and he'd rather spend the money that could be spent on a wedding on a holiday.
Okay. So, all right. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I mean, definitely noted.
Do they elaborate?
That was it.
Okay. So,
I mean, in regards to him.
the wedding.
Yeah.
Because I agree. I would much rather not have a wedding and go on vacation too. But that doesn't mean I don't want to get married.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like,
Yeah. Instead of spending $30,000 on a wedding where
Yeah,
you're going to
let's-
invite people,
right.
let's spend it on our honeymoon.
yeah, let's just fucking disappear for a month and go live a life that no one else gets to have. And, like,
Celebrate our union.
right. And maybe share on Instagram, like, hey, we're on the Black Sand Beach. Hey, we're doing this, but keep those memories for ourselves.
Right.
Or get, you know what I mean? Like, take pictures and hold it and print them and have them in an album for us. I don't know.
At the time that we had these initial discussions in 2021, I wasn't long out of my almost 18-year relationship with my ex-husband, and I wasn't yet divorced, so I was a little bitter about the idea of marriage, and I agreed with him. However, in the last 6 months or so, my attitude towards getting married again is changing based on how my partner treats me and my 2 kids.
Sounds familiar, don't it? It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That was us.
It was us.
I mean, I don't know how the rest of the email goes.
Right.
It may not be us, but that aspect is definitely us.
Well,
Because we were very adamant, this ain't happening. And then we were like, well, here you go. Ring.
you proposed to me, and I was totally caught off guard because I was in the mindset that we were never
Yeah.
getting married. Like, I've thought about it, but I never brought it to you, and I was like, hey, I'm kind of changing my mind about it.
Right.
I was like, it is what it is. If he changes his mind, then we'll go from there. And you did. He is sweet, loyal, thoughtful, respectful, always helpful, particularly when money is an issue. He's funny, and he's just the perfect life partner for me. We never raise our voices and always have meaningful discussions when there are any issues, which is rare. We had a prenup drawn up a few months ago, only for the reason that he's been bitten in previous relationship breakdowns before, and both of us wanted to protect our own assets in the instance that we don't work out. We both agreed to signing this. The prenup contains a clause that states the parties do not intend to marry. He read the draft document while we were laying in bed late one afternoon and made a point of mentioning that one line. I told him I had included that because that's what I understood he wanted. He didn't talk about it any further and just kept reading the document through. So in the last 6 months or so, she's been changing her attitude towards getting married. And we had a prenup drawn up a few months. I'm assuming it meant a few months ago because that's what it says. We had a prenup drawn up a few months. So when anybody says a few months, I imagine 3 to 4 months.
Right.
So you have already been thinking about you want to get married to this man. You agreed to everything in the prenup and you guys signed it. I don't know much about changing legal documents once they're signed, but I'm pretty sure it's a process.
Yeah, I mean, you would need to amend the document, but when it comes to that, changing things in that kind of scenario is a lot easier than changing it backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Taking it away than putting it in.
It is. Yeah, because once the document's there, adding more shit to it is a lot harder than taking something away from it.
Right.
But that scenario, if she's really feeling that way and he is too, and they have that conversation, they just go and void the contract and create a new one. The problem is they probably spent $2,500 or more to have that prenup drawn up.
Right.
It's a waste of money if you guys are now getting married and that prenup doesn't hold.
If you have an issue with something, you need to say you have an issue with it.
Yeah.
So saying I told him that I included it because that's what I understood he wanted. Did you really mean I don't want that, but I put it in there because you wanted it?
Right.
You didn't say that. You just said I put it in there because you wanted it. And he was like, all right, dope.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting it in there. Continuing. If you have an issue with something, you need to say it. Someone's
Right.
not going to read between the lines of what you mean.
Right. And there could be a possibility that he kind of wants it too. He just doesn't because, you know, like you said, you
Right,
think,
you're on board with it.
right.
I got some advice from my lawyer, and she told me that if we do get married, we'd need to have a new agreement drawn up because marriage would void the original agreement under Australian law.
Okay. There you go.
I relayed this to him and told him that if marriage is something he sees in our future, that we can put off signing this document now and sign one after we get married, so as to save legal costs more than anything. I work as a secretary for my lawyer, so I don't pay anything, but he'd be up for $800 to $1,000 each time for independent legal advice. He didn't give me an answer to that. However, he also has not been to a lawyer to get advice that's required by law to sign off on the agreement. That makes me curious as to whether he thinks marriage might be in the cards for us. I feel if he was completely against getting married, he would have jumped at the chance to get the prenup signed and in place. It sounds like a lot of speculation.
It is a whole lot of what if.
So I'm genuinely asking this. Why are you talking to us about it and not your man?
Yeah.
Because if he's not doing these things, but he didn't answer you when you had the conversation, and it's been 2 weeks that he's had the paperwork, like, all right, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, you said you wanted this. Why are you holding out on it? And then I would hit him with, I kind of want to get married.
Yeah.
That's why I asked my lawyer what would happen if we sign this now and end up getting married. So if we're on the same page, we should really have a conversation about this.
Yep. That's it.
A few weeks ago, he said something about me being his wife in passing when we were shopping. I said, jokingly of course, I don't see no ring on this finger. And he said, you told me you're not interested in that.
Okay. See, that's what's happening.
You both want it, but nobody's saying anything.
Right. You guys are too afraid to actually talk to each other. And you throwing those jabs back and forth in those moments, like she should have taken that wife comment and just stayed silent and thought about it for a little while, and then not in the moment been like, hey, you said that, and it's making me think that you actually do want to get married. And I'm kind of feeling like that would be beneficial to us. Like, I do want this to be forever. And you have that conversation. Those backhanded comments in a joking, playful manner is not going to move you forward.
No, it's
not. If anything, it's going to further cement the division of the not getting married thing. I don't see a ring on this finger, or,
Right.
That's just not a...
Right. Her saying, I don't see a ring on this finger, and he hit her with, you told me you're not interested in that. He's not wrong. So if you've never said, I want a ring on my finger, you can't
Right.
jokingly say, oh, well, I don't see one.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. He's respecting you and saying, he's listening to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said something like, I agreed with you at the time, but I'm allowed to change my mind. However, that decision is completely up to you. So you're not saying you want it. You're like, I'm allowed to change my mind, but it's up to you on whether or not we get married. Do you want to fucking get married or not?
Yeah. You guys are being coy with each other.
I would flat out ask, do you want to fucking get married? What are we doing?
Right. Do you know how easy it is to just be direct and how much easier life is when you are direct with the things that you're saying? This is no different than he should know better. He should know what I need. He should know what I want. We can't fucking read minds. And in the event that if he in passing has thought about getting married and you have been the adamant one about not doing it and you've never voiced the potential of it, he's not going to ever voice the potential of it because he's not trying to overstep.
Right.
But if he's made comments like that and you've both been thinking about it, why not just talk about it?
So the next line is, we've had other brief discussions since then, and each time I've told him that the decision is up to him and I've left the ball in his court.
Yeah.
So have you flat out said, I want to get married to you? Because leaving the ball in his court and saying, well, you need to figure out on whether or not we're getting married, that's a very, I don't care on what we do.
It does seem very like nonchalant, whatever.
Right. Unless you tell a man, I want this, he's not going to go, okay, she wants it.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the chance and I might get rejected, but here we go. You know, if you haven't flat out said, I want to marry you, and he is thinking about proposing to you, and you've made it clear that you don't want to get married, in the back of his mind, he's like, what if I go through and I do this and she tells me no?
Yeah.
Because she's already told me she doesn't want it.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm starting to realize that marriage is something that's important to me. Even if we eloped, in fact, the idea of that excites me more than a fancy wedding, I'd be thrilled.
I love that.
I've dropped hints, showing him pictures of ring that I like that come up on my Facebook feed and stuff like that, just joking around for the most part. But part of me really wants him to ask me.
Then you need to tell him that.
You need to tell him. Dropping hints. Men don't pick up on hints.
But yeah, no, we're fucking oblivious to almost everything.
Right.
And you showing rings doesn't mean shit, especially if you're just joking about it not ever being a thing.
Right.
I would, you don't even need to read the rest of this email.
Okay.
I got to be honest. In this scenario, what needs to happen is you two need to go to dinner. And you need to be like, look, I've really been thinking about this and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And marriage actually means something to me. And like, we've been making jokes back and forth. And the more the jokes have been made, the more I realize that this is what I want with you. And I've been telling you the ball is in your court. It's in your court. You can make a decision, but I'm telling you that my half of this decision is that this is what I want. And if you want this too, then we should start looking into it.
Right.
Because then you're telling him that this is what you want. You're setting an opportunity for him to go, okay, I can make her happy with marriage. And you guys can do that. We just got a new Patreon.
You know, do you want to plug Patreon real quick or do you want to
Yes.
do your thing? Okay.
For those of you who don't know and have not heard me say this at least 200 times now, Patreon is where our community is. It's the most easiest way to support us is through Patreon. We have 4 different tiers over there. We have a $5 tier, which is just a thank you tier. You can give us a tip. There's a $10 tier, $15 tier, and a $20 tier. The $10 tier and the $15 tier both get exclusive content. The $15 tier gets access to Discord and live streams. $20 tier gets you an extra Discord link for your partner or friend. And we have put together a fucking community over there.
Oh,
There's over 600 people in our Patreon right now. Our Discord's closer to 4. And we are active over there. It's a lot. The exclusive content is cool too because people who send emails in, if they're a part of Patreon, when they send the email, we read those emails. Moving forward, if you've sent an email and you're not in Patreon and you join Patreon, you got to resend the email so that you're not skipping the line. But we do exclusive content over there.
Right.
And because of Discord and us being active in the Discord, there's a lot. It's really a community. It doesn't just put us on a pedestal. We're actually with you guys and doing stuff, and I think that's pretty neat. So, and then obviously Discord is Discord.
Yep.
We also get help on YouTube. If you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, when we do our live chats, you will get a green name tag, and there is early release content. I'm getting ready to put episode 5 of the side piece on there because that doesn't come out till next Friday, so they get an early release. And then the other easiest way, best way to support us is by sharing the content. The more people that can see what we're doing, the more likely our channel is to grow. The more likely our channel is to grow, the more content we can do, the more we have access to other creators and doing the growth thing.
Yep. Gives us more avenues.
Yep. Wild when you really think about how far this has come in 4 months.
It really is crazy.
Yep. All right.
So, no, I've been thinking on my point. You're not just going to keep going. So, back to the email. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I was telling you to get back to the email.
Okay.
And I was going to start talking to make you forget your point, but I decided not to.
So, he's already shown you that he's willing to listen to you and give you what you want because he hasn't proposed to you.
Mm-hmm.
Beating around the bush and hinting that you want to get married, that's not telling him what you want. You told him you do not want to get married, and he's respecting that.
Do you think that there's something behind it when a man calls a woman his wife, even if they're not married?
Yes.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. If you're a man and you just say that shit, that's fucked up. If you call your girlfriend your wife and you have no intention of marrying her, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I agree.
That's also downplaying what a wife is.
I agree with that too.
I take my role as a wife very seriously. I feel blessed to be a wife and to have the life that I do and to be able to serve you the way that I do. And it's more than just me making dinner for you. The way that I'm able to give you love and that you're so open to receiving it and you don't put me down for the way that I choose to love you or make fun of me for the way that I love you. Because I do some pretty outrageous shit just to make you smile.
Yeah.
I take all of that very seriously and I never take it for granted.
Yeah, I only asked that because he called her his wife in passing, which means he's obviously thought about it.
Oh, yeah.
And if they're at that 2-year mark and they're moving past the obsessive aspect of it and they're still feeling that way and the love from her is starting to grow and wants more and more and more, then they've made it past that.
The obsession.
Yeah, the trial by fire. You know what I mean?
If you still want to get married after 2 years and everything's going great and you guys don't argue, there's nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
Nothing but yourselves.
And she's not in her 20s. She had an 18-year relationship before this.
Yep. They're both in their mid-30s.
Why put that off?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're in the best stages of your life right now to really settle down and start building and growing together. I don't know.
At the end of her email, she asks, do I bring this up again or do I just keep leaving hints or however she phrased that? You bring it up again and you say, I want to marry you.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel on that aspect, but I'm telling you, like, I would love to be your wife.
Yeah. You guys got to be direct.
You do.
You have to quit beating around the bush with shit. If you don't tell us what you want and be fucking clear about it, we can't give you what you want. We can't. And like in the event that you hint around for the next 3 or 4 years and finally it dawns on him that this is what you want,
there's going to be resentment there.
There could be, because you've been waiting this entire time hoping he would pop the question. I firmly believe that if you are with somebody for up to 5 years and marriage has not been discussed yet, you're not going to ever get married.
No.
And that's fine if you don't want marriage, but like, why date and court and move in and do all of that shit if you don't need the financial aid and you're not getting married? There's nothing there. You know what I mean? I don't know. I view the dating process as trying to find the person you want to spend the rest of your life with.
Yep.
And I think that if you don't know that you can do that within the first 5 years of being with somebody, then that's, I mean, that's kind of tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah. And if you're too, I don't know, anxious or insecure to just flat out say, I want to marry you, approach him and say, I know we've been joking about this and I've been jokingly showing you rings and I've been thinking about it. I would love to have your last name.
Yeah. Why are you staring at me like that? You just waiting for me to say some profound
I was
shit?
waiting for you to say something else. I wasn't just out.
I don't have anything. I agree with everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't think that it should have gone as far as it did with the joking.
Yeah, that's too much. Eventually that joking is going to become hateful.
Yeah. It could.
On both ends. He might start to get frustrated because you're dropping hints, but you've never said you wanted to get married.
Right.
So now you're giving him mixed messages.
Yep. Yeah. I don't have anything else on this one. I really think she just needs to be like, look,
Yeah.
we've been fucking joking about it. I'm serious. This is what I want.
Yeah. That back and forth in the grocery store, that kind of thing would make me uncomfortable if I heard that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just playing it in my mind, I can imagine walking through like the freezer section in Walmart
Like, ooh.
and hearing that, and I'd be like, damn, y'all just need to, if you want to do it, do it. That would make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I would have hit them with, are y'all getting married or what? Like, what are we doing? Make both of you uncomfortable, but I'm going to initiate that conversation.
We really got to get cards made so you can make people embarrassed in public.
Oh my God. I would love to get cards made that say to be better and links to our YouTubes and shit. We see couples arguing in public, just slide them our business card. Walk away. In the middle of their argument, both of them are going to stop
Yeah.
and be like, what the fuck is this? Get thrown into a purse or something. They might just throw it on the ground. Somebody else might pick it up. But,
Yeah.
ooh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I can see you guys are going through it. Check this out.
Yeah. This would help. This
Yeah.
might help.
Oh, is your husband pissing you off? Check out my YouTube channel. Oh, your wife is a constant bitch? Check this out. This is your life? Look at this. I could keep going. I need to stop.
Yeah. Let's get into the next one.
Okay.
I wonder if she read that email that she sent us before she submitted it.
Does anybody?
I don't know, but like I know that I vent by writing.
Right.
So when people are going through it and they see what we're doing and they want our advice, they have to write the shit out. You've got to feel good when you get that out. Like you have to feel like a weight is lifted off of you. And if you just reread the email, you may get most of your questions answered.
Right.
But in that, I sometimes it's just so fucking obvious. I feel like
It's
I should be the guy
obvious.
from the commercial with the little hat and the Captain Obvious outfit on. Yeah.
Well, it's obvious to us because we're outside of the situation.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a direct motherfucker. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna say exactly what I'm thinking. I like bluntness. I don't want people to sugarcoat things or beat around the bush. If you've got something to say, just say the shit.
That makes a lot of sense when I actually like hardcore started flirting with you that you were appreciative of it. Because there were times like, I'm sorry if I'm super brash, but. So this next one is. I read it and I got angry.
Okay. That's exciting.
Preface.
We may get a tirade from Peaches.
We might. You will. You will. This one's labeled extremely needing help or advice. Hi, my husband and I will be married for 16 years this year and together for 23 years.
Okay.
That is over 2 decades
The life sentence.
of knowing this man. We've been together since 6th grade at the age of 12.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That is also meeting somebody in their formative years.
Yeah.
Undeveloped brains. Just because you guys spent time together in middle school or high school does not mean that you guys are lifelong partners.
Right.
We get a lot of emails where we're high school sweethearts and we've been together for 15 years and everything is absolute shit and it's been shit this whole time. It's because you never allowed yourself to look for somebody else who might fit your needs a little bit better.
Right.
That's why you date. There are some people who've been together since high school and they've been married for 60 years.
And everything's great.
And that's because they both made the choice to not only grow for themselves, but to grow for one another.
Right.
That's when those long time relationships work, when you meet in middle school or high school, because both of you understand we're not kids anymore. I can't keep doing this childish shit that I did when I was 13. We're in our 40s. We are both 34 years old. We'll turn 35 this year, and we have 2 daughters that are 15 and 13. Our life and marriage is chaos, if I'm being fully honest. To give a little backstory, my husband's upbringing was not the greatest by no means. Him and his mom were always fighting, threatening each other, and at one point, it led my husband to be sent to a boys' home. He was gone for a little over a year. Fast forward to us getting married in 2007 and getting pregnant in 2008 with our first daughter. Things were okay, but there were little issues here and there. Then in 2009, we had our second daughter. He has major anger issues. I've been called every name in the book that you could think of, along with our daughters, unfortunately being called nasty names as well. So major anger issues don't just happen. So if you're saying that his major anger issues were part of your little issues here and there, you chose to overlook it. And
Right.
now because there are children involved, you're recognizing this is a problem.
Right. And obviously it wasn't just now because he had it with his mom
Right.
and ended up in a boys' home for a year.
If you are with somebody who already has anger issues and is degrading you and calling you names, and you expect that person to get better because children are brought into the world, you are a fool. Having children, you hope, would change somebody and make them want to be better and be the best that they can be to raise good human beings. A lot of the time, that's not the case.
Right. Most of the time it's not.
When he's upset about something, the nasty cussing begins towards me and our girls. I've tried to leave him multiple times, but I have always taken him back. So when I read I have taken him back, that means you've left. You've gotten away. You're doing your thing, and then he pulls you back and you're like, all right, let's give this another shot. That is a choice that you are actively making to go back to the man who continues to berate you.
Right.
He's good with his words and he knows what to say. He knows what to say to get you back on his side. So you're allowing him to manipulate you and you recognize that he knows what to say to play on your heartstrings and you go back every time.
Yep. That's what I got from that.
You know he is manipulating you and you are allowing it to happen.
Right. And that's what the email should say. Recognize the accountability there and know that this is you doing this, not him.
Right.
You going back is a you thing.
It is. He could say all these sweet things to a blocked number.
Right.
Me and my girls are the only ones that get to see this hateful side of him. He doesn't treat anyone in his family the way he does us, nor does he do it to anyone that he works with. Because the people that he works with wouldn't tolerate that, he would get fired.
Right. Yep. This falls under that category of setting those standards and boundaries and not letting people cross them, because once it crosses a single boundary, the next boundary is getting crossed, the next boundary is getting crossed. And when you finally have enough and you leave because he's crossed all those boundaries and then you come back, those standards have been set. He knows what he can get away with.
Right.
Oh, man.
We've gone to marriage counseling in 2019, and it was great. We were given the tools, and it was working. Once we stopped going, little by little, we were back to where we started. So, little by little, we were back to where we started. So he would slip up. And when he slipped up, instead of going, babe, we worked on this in therapy. You've been doing so good. Let's try again. Let's restart the conversation. Did he slip up and then you let yourself slip up because you felt attacked and then you attacked him? Because if that's the little by little, then you are both at fault for letting that go.
Right.
You guys have to hold each other accountable, especially if things are going great. You don't let habits slip and then just let it slide. My girls are so emotionally damaged, they are both on medication because of it. My youngest daughter wants nothing to do with him because of how he treats her and talks to her. We fight so much when it comes to how he speaks to us, and nothing gets resolved completely. We always repeat the same cycle to where once something is going wrong and I tell him that I want to separate, he then goes into wanting to fix things and do things right. And that only lasts for a couple of weeks and then we're back to square one. So he is doing enough to appease you, to make you stay.
Right.
And then falls back into the cycle because you've shown you're not really leaving.
Right. The real question here is why are you staying in a situation like that when your kids are clearly miserable as fuck and being verbally abused?
You choosing to stay in this situation, later in life, you're going to have to accept the fact that one day your girls are going to ask you, Mom, why did you subject us to this?
Right.
Why didn't you leave? You saw that we were miserable. We were in therapy and on medication because you made the choice to keep us in a situation that we had no control over.
Yep. She's just as guilty as he is.
Just as guilty as he is when it comes to the damage those girls are going through. You guys repeat the same cycle because you allow that cycle to repeat.
Right.
It takes one person to break that cycle and end it.
I can tell that you read this all the way through before we'd sat down because you're already aggravated.
I am. I'm shaking. I'm so angry. Children are defenseless in this world. It's going to boil down to, what if your girls run away?
Yeah.
What if your 13-year-old packs up all of her shit, leaves a note on her bed, and you wake up the next morning and she's gone because she doesn't want to live life like this anymore and she's out on the streets?
Kids do that.
Kids do that. I packed my shit into one duffel bag one night and I had all my shit ready to leave.
Yep.
And then I realized I'm going to be on the street for an undetermined amount of time and I'm a girl.
Yeah.
What if I'm out there and some homeless man tries to rape me?
Yeah. Yep. It's a dangerous situation.
I always try to talk to him about us and our girls, but he refuses to fully take in what I'm saying. The absolute saddest part and the most heartbreaking part of all of this is our girls. They are so mentally unstable and damaged that suicide has been mentioned in the past. No, the saddest part about this, the most heartbreaking part about this is you as their mother are failing them.
Yeah.
That's the heartbreaking part. These girls are talking about killing themselves because you as their mom won't step up and leave for good. You've left before.
Yeah.
You've separated before, but you were drawn back in because he says a little sweet nothing into your ear and you hope that this time, out of the 100 of times of him saying this, is going to finally stick. I did a lot of self-harm as a kid. A lot. It was to the point that I was in my bathroom trying to figure out how to save my own life because I was too scared to go to my mom. because I didn't want her to have to call an ambulance and then hear about how I fucked up our finances.
Yeah. It's not something that a kid should have to worry about.
I was 14. Both of my girls are now currently in counseling, and while that's amazing, and I know that what they need, and I know that they need it, they still have to come home to home life, and that's not good, and still fight mental battles at home when their dad is there. No, it's not amazing that they're in counseling. They wouldn't have to be in counseling if they weren't in this situation.
Exactly.
That's what would be amazing. You don't get a pat on your back because you're sending your kids to therapy for damage that you helped cause.
Right. That you're continuing to allow to happen.
I know a lot of this is going to be very brash and blunt and it's going to hurt feelings. You need your feelings to get hurt a little bit because this isn't just about you anymore. I understand all of this is very hard just on a woman being in a relationship with a very abusive man. It's not just you anymore. You have 2 lives that you've chosen to bring into this world and they are relying on you to keep them safe and you are failing.
Right.
Between the being cussed out and yelled at to him have the time wanting nothing to do with me, when I tell him the things I need from him to reassure me that he loves me, he will only do it on his time and when he chooses to. I'm so lost and damaged and feel so vulnerable. I have so much I could put into this email, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys with it being so long. I just need help and advice. You need to leave. He shows you he doesn't care. Why stay with a man and beg to feel loved when there is somebody out there who will give it to you without being asked?
Right.
Do you want to stay with him because he's all of you've known since you were 12 years old? Do you want to continue living your life like this? What are you going to do when your kids leave?
Right.
You're going to continue to live with him? Are you going to divorce him after your kids leave and now your kids are going to resent you because you didn't do it sooner?
Right. The abuse aspect of this is it's hard, right? Because you got the kids involved in it and the kids are learning behavioral traits that are going to be taken out on their kids. And
They're also going to probably end up in a situation that you're in now.
Right. And that was my next point, is that they're probably going to repeat what they've seen because this is what they believe relationships look like with adults. I don't know if it's my phone making the thing pop or yours.
I have very high expectations of what a mother means.
Yeah.
Very high expectations of what a mother means. And when I say that, I don't mean a mom who yells at her kids because she's overwhelmed is a bad mom. That's not what I mean. Mothers who choose to stay in an abusive situation where their children are talking about offing themselves because they can't stand to be in the household anymore because you don't want to be alone or you can't handle being alone or, ooh, you need to step up. I want to say some very, very hurtful things to make my point known, and it's unnecessary for me to do that. So
Right.
I'm choosing my words very carefully.
Right. And I'm choosing not to say anything because you're saying it all. So
I'm angry.
I know, I can tell.
And when I'm angry, I want to say things that hurt to get my point across. And like I said, it's fucking unnecessary.
I think that, in the grand scheme of all of this, being married to somebody for as long as you've been married or being with them for as long as you've been with them, 23 years or whatever it was, this is not just something that you woke up to.
No, it's not.
Like, it's been a gradual thing, and it's been happening in the kids' lives for 13 and 15 years, and it's gradually gotten worse and worse and worse. And at some point, it's going to get worse than it currently is.
It's going to become physical.
And it's going to become physical. Yep. And all it takes is one instance where he flies off the handle, where he's got a little bit of a drink in him, or he just gets a little extra mad and a shove happens.
It might not even be you. What if he hits one of the kids?
Yeah.
Is that going to be the straw where you're like, okay, we're done?
Yeah.
That emotional damage is going to do a lot more than physical damage. I promise you that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
If this is your life, did you see that in your childhood? Are you living what your mother lived? I did that for a while. I was in not a lot, but I was in 2 very shitty relationships. And it's because that's what I saw my mom go through. I didn't know any different. I was craving love and attention and affection because I had a childhood without it. And anybody who showed it to me, I cling to them no matter how bad of a person they were because they were filling that need.
Yeah. And what broke that?
Me recognizing that my children were seeing it. I don't want my daughter to be in a relationship where she has to question her self-worth because a man isn't telling her, I love you, or you don't deserve my love. You're lucky I'm here. You're worthless. I would catch a charge for that shit,
Yeah.
knowing that my daughter's being treated that way. But instead of reacting in the future, I am making it a point now that she knows her self-worth, and you're not going to accept somebody treating you like this.
Right.
So instead of fixing problems in the future, prevent them now.
I agree.
I ask myself that a lot. Before I make any decision in life, I think, would I be okay with my children making this decision for their children? If I would judge my own child for their parenting, I don't have the right to do it in mine.
Yeah.
If I judge my own mother's parenting, I don't have the right to do it in mine. If I judge my grandmother's parenting, I have no right to do it in mine. I'm judging another woman's parenting. If I'm going to judge somebody else's parenting, I have to practice what I preach.
Right.
And I'm doing that through lived experience. I'm not judging you thinking I'm this amazing Stepford wife who's never made a mistake. I've fucked up a lot in my life. And it doesn't make me better than you. It doesn't make me better than anybody. It doesn't make me the perfect mom. You need to live up to what my standards are. You have to have some sort of standard, some type of, I'm not going to dip below that. And people are throwing those standards away because they want to be in love. Because they hope that the person who's been treating them like shit for the last 20 years is maybe going to step up and be better.
Right.
And even if he does, that's 20 years of shit that he has to unlearn. Are you willing to go through that unlearning process with him? Because it's going to be a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because he's going to become frustrated with the fact that he's still repeating those same patterns. And he might lash out worse. And then come back and apologize and try to correct it. But is he really going to do that? Because he's been promising to be better for 20 years now. And none of his actions show that. So it could just be another manipulation tactic.
I think it's easy to say that, or safe to say that we don't support abusive situations.
No.
And if you send emails where you're being abused in any way, shape, or form, we're not going to tell you to work it out.
No. Especially if there's children involved.
Right. There are emails that can come through where both people are toxic towards each other and you guys can work through that shit. But when there is a single-sided abusive situation, we're not trying to work through that. And like you said, especially when there's kids involved, we don't.
Especially when there's children involved. And I understand there's a woman on the other side of this email, but those children don't have a voice right now. And who should be their voice is not doing their job. So I'm going to be a voice for those children.
Yeah, the protector is not protecting.
I got more heated than you did.
I know. And I've just been sitting over here chilling, letting you do your thing. I normally am the one that goes off on tangents with all that shit, but I could see you getting worked up and there's no reason for us to say the same shit. So I've just been letting you have your moment.
Yeah.
I don't have anything of value to add to that. Everything that I would have said, you just fucking went off on it. So
There's a point.
I love that we're on the same page with shit like that, though.
Oh, yeah, me too.
It makes me comfortable in knowing that you and I are going to continue to grow together and not do that shit to each other or our kids.
You know, people always say you have to coddle women who are in that situation. You can coddle to a certain extent. If the first time they leave, they go back, I can understand that. I can understand it's a manipulation cycle. If you go back 8, 9, 10 times, people say 7 is the average it takes to leave.
Really?
It is. 7 is
Even
the
when
average.
there's kids involved?
Even when there's children involved. It takes 7 times for a woman to leave to finally be gone. That 3rd or 4th time, I can't tell you how many times I've heard they're killed. So the standard is 7. That's 6 times too many.
Right.
Women, you fucking matter. If you are in a relationship with a man who treats you like dirt and you feel like you need to go back another 5 times to finally realize your worth, you need to accept that one of those times you might lose your life. Your child might lose their life.
Do you think that having that mindset is an extreme? Or do you think that's a very viable argument? Because it is an extreme. Like, realistically,
Me
like,
saying that loud is extreme?
huh?
Me saying what I just said out loud is extreme?
Yeah, the murder aspect of it. Because
No.
there are women who get their ass handed to them in physical confrontations throughout their entire lives that are never killed. And I'm not saying that it's right for it to be that way, but I'm curious, like, do you think that most of those violent situations end up in a murder, or do you think that it's more likely that somebody's just going to get their ass beat for the rest of their life?
I don't care what the chances are. Knowing that it happens is enough for me.
Yeah.
He hasn't even put his hands on them yet, but knowing that it could go there, that's enough for me.
And do you think that's what sets you apart from people like that?
Yes.
That's what I was
Having
getting at.
value over my own life, yes. I think having the logical, rational thinking, knowing that that's where it could go, being able to remove my emotional side, 100%, that separates me from the women in that situation.
Do you think that women in that situation who are in love don't believe that that'll ever actually happen, though?
Yes.
So then how do you get over that? Because what if scenarios are very different than I'm in love and he's just calling me names? He's never put his hands on me. I'm only trying to understand this from your standpoint.
Right.
I wouldn't take the abuse. If a woman was disrespectful to me on a regular basis, I would leave. I wouldn't stay in a situation like that because my value matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
My self-worth is already like in the tank. I can't lose any more of who I am by allowing somebody to berate me.
I don't know how to change that mindset. Only the person who is in that mindset can change it for them. I just said it takes 7 times to leave.
Right.
There are women who go back once and they're done. There's no second chance to leave because they don't have that choice anymore.
Right.
Just knowing that women can go back one time and that man can overpower them to the point that they don't have another choice. If that's not enough for you to go, okay, maybe I'm in danger, I don't know what else will. Knowing that there's a woman out there right now with an autistic 8-year-old who is in fear for his life daily because she doesn't want to leave. An autistic 8-year-old is in fear for his life. Every woman watching this wants to go save that child, but you're not willing to save your own?
Yeah.
There are people in that situation right now who aren't even aware that they're in that situation, and they listen to an email like that and they go, oh my God, why is she staying?
Yeah.
Why are you staying? Ask yourself that question. Why are you staying? If you want to judge another woman for staying, ask yourself that same question and judge your own actions. I have high expectations for humanity in general, not just women. I have high expectations for men. And that's not, like I said, because I think I'm better than you. It's because I know you can be better than what you currently are. And sometimes it takes someone being a little bit shitty for you to go, okay, maybe they're right. I'm going to start repeating myself, so I'm done.
I want to keep throwing things at you, but I can tell that you're frustrated and I don't want to make it worse.
I mean, if you want to keep throwing things at me, you can.
I think we should call this.
Okay.
Take some time to decompress and relax because we have important dinner things that has to get discussed, and I don't want you going in there in a frustrated mindset.
Right. I can separate that from that. This from that.
I think that maybe moving forward, we should just not answer emails like that anymore because there's not going to be a scenario where we're going to see you should stay. I don't want to ever break up a marriage. I truly don't. I want to see everyone save their marriage and come out this on the better end. But when there are children being verbally or physically abused, psychologically or physically abused, that's not okay. Like as a parent, your job is to keep your children safe.
Right.
And if you are allowing that to happen and you are allowing it to happen, you're the fucking problem. Because you should be taking your kids and getting the fuck out of that situation, especially if they're in fucking therapy at 13 years old because
they've been talking about offing themselves.
Right. Yeah, there's not a redeemable situation there. So I got nothing. You said it all. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the Peaches Show. I'm Chris. It's been nice sitting here listening to her rant.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys on the next one.
Bye, guys. Hey, guys, if you enjoyed that, found it entertaining, funny, or even learned something you didn't know before, share it. And if you're not subscribed, why aren't you? And for those of you who want to support us, get access to exclusive content and live streams, we do have a Patreon. All the links are in the description.